can see the way they hate. And I know better than to listen to people who are calling us names. I can feel the sun.
Well, good morning. It's Monday, January 6th, 2024, and welcome to episode 820 of the Lots Project Morning Show, where the coffee is strong, the opinions are stronger, and everything's always filter-free. I'm Brian, your host, and today I'm enjoying a 2024 Solstice blend from foodforestfarms.com, where you can get 10% off with discount code LOTS10, and the shipping is always free. While you're there, check out C4 Club. The C4 Club is the only way you could try the 2024 Solstice blend, and boy, if you're not a member, you missed out for sure. Solstice blend is phenomenal this year. I have to tip my hat to Brian over there. He nailed it and didn't even get to try it. So I appreciate the cup, and man, that pound was definitely worth it. Man, I can't say enough about the coffee club and the customer service that Brian provides. And so definitely head on over to foodforestfarms.com. Check out the coffee, save a little money, join the C4 Club, save a ton of money, and enjoy fantastic coffee all year round. Today, I'm going to be talking about a great escapee. I almost forgot to be a prepper the other day. Some new tech and more. First, let's head on over into the live chat. See who's hanging out, and we'll chat for an hour or so. See how long you guys want to hang out and get out of here. But we'll be around for at least an hour. Good morning. How is everyone doing today? Let me get this out of the way. Let's see who's hanging out. John Palmer in. Good morning, good day, and good week to you, sir. Good morning, Seattle. I'll get one live. He's getting off of work. The man went back to the Fiat mines, and he's handling his pickaxe, and he's mining that Fiat. He says he'll be getting off just as I go on the air commuter with the coffee crew. Can't beat that. Riding around listening to me. Good morning, Jim. Thanks for all you do. Jim is a clipping machine. We'll talk about the clip contest here in a second, but Jim is stacking the deck. I have to say, Jim is stacking the deck on the clip contest. I appreciate that and all the love over on Noster, Jim. Canadian Farmstead, good morning to you. Pip, thanks for stopping in. Good morning, humans. Chris Dixon with a definitely a solid note. Happy first real business day of 2025. Yeah, what is that bullshit starting in the middle of the week? I mean, it's almost like if we went to 13 months and 28 days a month, every year would start on a Sunday, I think. Or it really could start on whatever day they wanted to, and it would just be the same all the time. Imagine that, will you? All the days of the month fall on the same day. There's the same amount of weeks and days in every month, and oh my God, it would be so confusing. Pip says Solstice blend is good, ain't it? Dude, you will. Pip joined the C4 Club. Sorry to out you, Pip, but Pip joined the C4 Club, and I think he outed himself just by saying that the Solstice blend is good. But Pip, you'll look forward to the specialty blends that come out, the holiday blends, the Solstice blends. There's just little perks and benefits that you'll find in your C4 box every now and again. And they're always home runs. Good morning, Rewilder Life. Thanks for joining me. Glad you survived your 8 inches last night. Do you have more to come today? Hunter, good morning over on Twitch. Thanks for stopping in. Appreciate it. Jim says in Brian's world. What are we talking about, Jim? Hunter says, "Oh, Hunter, are you saying that the C4 Club is an extra month of bills?" You don't want to change the calendar because there'll be an extra month of bills. Not really, my man. Not really. We could extrapolate out all the math if you want. there'd still be the same amount of days, just broken up a little different. Mike's Homestead says, my wife says the solstice is great. It is. It's a home run, and it was well, Hunter says it's an incentive. The calendar, if we went to, so you get two extra paychecks a year. If you get paid bi-weekly, you get 2 months a year with 3 paychecks and 10 months a year with 2 paychecks. If we rolled to 13 months, you just get 13 months of 2 paychecks. So there's that. Pip says high of 75 today, expected. Oh, fuck you. I will definitely like some 75 degrees right now. Our temp is on the way down. I don't think it's supposed to go up today, really. From what I looked like, maybe a couple of degrees, but it was 60 and pouring rain about 3 o'clock yesterday afternoon, and now it's 32 or 31 and dropping still, I think, and then it'll go up to just above freezing today and then back down a little bit. So Jim says the week starts on Tuesday this year, or whatever day Brian decides. I don't get to decide shit. I don't get to decide shit. So thanks, Jim. Anyway, the Solstice blend is actually a takeoff of the Silver Bullet blend, which is no longer in existence. That's been around for a couple of years now, I think. No, not quite that long. That was the second round of silver that went out with. But that blend was created because I was a C4 member. Brian got some specialty beans in. Green beans, not the ones you eat, green coffee beans. A fantastic monsoon Malabar. It's super dark. If you look in the Solstice blend, for you that have it, it's the super dark bean, especially when it gets roasted and oily. It's fantastic. But Brian mixed that up with some super light, made an awesome blend, Silver Bullet blend, that went out with the custom silver sets as a package. You could get it there. You could also get it on the storefront, but it was a limited time deal. And the Monsoon Malabar, the huge bag of green Monsoon Malabar, is now depleted. I believe he used the end of it as part of the Solstice blend, and it's gone for good. So what a fantastic blend that Silver Bullet blend is. If you've had it, if you got to have some, if you got to enjoy some, if you still have some, definitely enjoy it, because it's not good, or it's not available anymore. I'm sure Brian will come up with new fantastic creations along the way. That's another perk of the C4 Club. If you have a brand, you have a business, you want to spin up a business, there is plenty of opportunity to work with Brian, get a fantastic wholesale price on some coffee, and white label your own blend brand or whatever you want with a fantastic coffee blend. So I have nothing but the highest praise for Brian, his customer service, his product, and you should check it out. I mean, I can't recommend it anymore. I really can't. So, I could, but I think I've expressed my love for it. So, Pip says had green beans last night with a Polyface Farms London broil. Nice. How did you cook that London broil? My parents used to, and then me by proxy. We used to kind of slow cook them on the grill, and then slice them across and make little strips and serve it with like an au jus dipping sauce, and it used to be phenomenal. So it had a marinade that we locked it in overnight, I believe. Been a long time. So, yeah. Good morning, Seattle. Good morning, Seattle. How we doing? And Polyface Farm, if you don't know, that's Joel Salatin's Joel Salatin's gig. So it was it worth the money? Do you have access to locally farmed beef in Florida? Do they raise cows in Florida, Pip? Do you have places? I when I was in Florida, I don't recall driving around and seeing a bunch of cow farms. Do they have locally produced, like say, a grass-fed beef or some supplier local to you, or is Florida not used for beef production at all? It's something I've never really thought about. Something I really never thought about. But anyway, let's get to it. That was what I had about the Solstice Blend, Silver Bullet Blend, and definitely the C4 Club. Who's been doing the Daily Stoic? Daily Stoic, the book. Last year, jumped in about middle of January, really liked it, found a lot of benefit from this. Dove in, missed quite a bit of it for this reason or another reason, whatever excuses we have. But I went a step further this year. I'm trying to get every day in. And then I added in, to help with that, the Daily Stoic Journal. And that's going well. It's going well. It's interesting. If you don't know what the Daily Stoic is, basically Ryan Holiday picks a Stoic quote every day. It is in there, and then Holiday kind of breaks it down and talks about what it means. So if you're having trouble comprehending it, maybe it's a different point of view, but he writes a little blurb. So the idea is you read one page a day. I found the benefit there last year, just reading it and then contemplating it. Taking it to a different level with the journal has, it's only been 5 days 5 days. One thing I've noticed is, so the way the journal works is there's a corresponding question, and then there's a space for a morning contemplation and an evening contemplation. I've noticed that my morning thoughts are completely different from my evening thoughts on the same question after having it sit in my head all day. And I assume that is the intent of the exercise, but it played itself out right away. It played itself out immediately with the journal. So I suggest the book. I suggest that he has an audio version if you're on Audible. I think it might even be free. It's cheap, or the book's there. He does audio recording. Good morning over on Noster. Thanks for stopping in. Thanks for the 69. Where's the shotgun at? Shotgun is on the well, it's not a shotgun. There's a few, maybe it may or may not be a few firearms in the room. Shotgun is not within reach. I appreciate you stopping in. Thanks for the zap, man. Appreciate it. So the journal is definitely worth the add-on, I think. I'm having trouble writing in the journal. I'm not, first of all, my handwriting is horrible. Second, I never enjoyed physically writing. I like the process and the thought of writing, but I don't like the physical act of writing. And this hardcover book is kind of wonky and awkward to write in. I'm struggling through it, but I wanted to be able to go back and look over what I wrote, maybe weekly, monthly, or something like that. And so I decided to also keep a digital record. So basically, I follow the protocol and I write it in the book. I handwrite it. I think about it while I'm writing it. And then later in the day or at the evening, after I do the evening one, I put it into the digital log and save it there and as a reference, because, writing isn't really my thing. Jim on the Florida question says, we do here in Lakeland lots of beef in Lakeland. Thanks for the zap, Jim. I imagine that's you. The 1033 is a common sight. Appreciate that, man, and all the zaps all along the way. Pip saying North Florida, Ocala has plenty of farms, cows, etc. I need to get off my ass and find a local source for meat. John Palmer is taking part in the Daily Stoic. You don't have to start on the first. Like I said, I ordered it up mid-January last year, and it was fantastic. And you can go round and round and round and round and round. Jim says he has a couple egg sources now. And Chris Dixon, ever helpful. Chris Dixon says, if only there was a kind of word type document that a person could type into. I was thinking about pulling out the typewriter, but we didn't find that as an essential piece of equipment when we went on the road. So I ditched the typewriter in like 1987, I think. So I am using the document, but I have read, and I think I've already experienced it. Physically writing it down is different. There's just something different about it. With a pen in your hand and physically doing it, other than sitting with a keyboard or banging away on your phone or whatever digital method you want to do. Actually writing it in the book helps. I contemplated using like a spiral notebook or another kind of physical journal, and it just didn't make sense. So I just opened up a Word document and away I'm going with that. But still continuing on with the journal, and I suggest you do too. Chris says the physical act of writing clears your thought properly. I've noticed it. Like it is definitely something that I've noticed in the first 5 days. So good morning, Cormac. Thanks for joining us from across the pond. How's things going where you are? So that's the Daily Stoic. I believe down in the video description, in the video notes and the audio notes, there should be a link to my recommended reading list on Amazon. You can find the Christian Morrow books from the interview from last week. If you listen to that, what'd you think, guys? Christian Morrow is an interesting cat for sure. And then Eric McHugh on Friday was another phenomenal interview over on Director Detour. But what was I thinking about right there? Wow, that fleeting moment right there. Holy shit. I'm trying to get my notes uncovered here. Jesus Christ. Get out of practice when I'm down to once a week. Recommended reading list down there on Amazon. It's an idea list. I have a few of them started on my Amazon storefront. You can find the Amazon storefront at amazon.com/shop/the Lots Project. Those are all the product videos I've done for Amazon in a list. And then, like I said, these curated idea lists. I have a coffee gear list, a roadside car emergency list, a recommended reading list, and the Daily Stoic Journal. I think Anti-Politics is there, the Bitcoin Standard, all the books that I've kind of dug recently. And as I have come into the new year, I've enjoyed reading a little bit more. So I think that list might grow as the year goes. So check that out for sure. I am trying to figure out this screen placement. We'll move this one over here. John Palmer definitely listened to the interview. He said that was a fantastic, terrific interview. Shakespeare. At least he wasn't beating himself in the face. When he told me off air before we started the interview, he's like, "Yeah, I got it pretty good today, but I do harm myself pretty intensely. Routinely break my hands and black eyes and shit." And I'm like, what happens if this goes sideways during the interview and this dude starts just railing on himself? But he kept that under control. And I thought he expressed to me privately or not privately, but off air, how severe his Tourette's is. And I think he did awesome. But so, yeah, definitely check it out if you haven't listened to it. And it's not my type of writing, not my type of book, but if you're into the epic fantasy, epic fantasy, I believe is the genre of his writing, you should definitely check it out. He sells a lot of books, so check it out there. Chris Dixon says, I'm not sure I'm ready for the mind of Christian Morrow, but his books are in my cart. Yeah, he's an interesting cat. I enjoyed talking with him. I followed up with him a little bit. He's a good dude. And as we get the Patreon rolling, hey, first 5-level tier Patreon member rolled in this weekend. So get a couple more. I'm not sure where I'm going to land before I start rolling out in-depth callback interviews, but we're getting there. And that's going to be a premium tier when we start diving into that. And premium tier members will get to submit questions. We might be able to schedule those interviews live, so you can be live in the audience, and then it'll be those longer, more in-depth interviews will be on that $5 tier at this point. So one and done, one in, and many to come, hopefully soon. Jim says it was an excellent story. I may have that clipped. John Palmer, if you listen to the interview and you didn't make it click, do you just not want a jade? I have this jade here. Speaking of jade, that's next on my list. I have this jade here that I'm giving away. If you go to Director Detour and make a clip on Fountain, takes like 20 seconds. You get entered in. Every clip you make, you get entered in for a jade hardware wallet. I have that one sitting there, still sealed, still in the plastic with the security seal on it. So you know I haven't touched it. I'm not going to steal your shit or anything like that. But on Bitcoin's birthday, happy birthday, Bitcoin, by the way, happy belated birthday. I was able to start talking about this fantastic device. See the difference in the Jade Plus. The Jade Plus released on Bitcoin's birthday. This is the Jade Plus. If you haven't had the chance to see one yet. If you're watching the video, if you're listening, I apologize, but if you want to see a little bit of a size comparison real quick, it's bigger. The screen's bigger. The functionality's better. The processor's better. Comes with a metal case option. Comes in a plastic case option. Price is a little steeper, but anyway, you can save 10% if you go to the Blockstream store. Use code the Lots Project, or down in the description, audio, video, wherever you find it, there is a link, and if you click the link, it should be auto applied to your order, and free worldwide shipping for the launch of the Jade Plus. Jade Plus. I'm not giving away the Jade Plus. The Jade Plus is mine. I'm sorry. But depending on how sales go this month, there might be some available to, a Jade Plus for giveaway too. We'll see. Depends on sales volume. That is the Jade Plus. They did a great job with it. Let's just put it that way. I'm still diving in. I'm still diving into the functionality, getting it set up. I have my original Jade hardware wallet all set up, so this is new, and it was unexpected for sure. I was just offered an opportunity to get one a while back by my affiliate manager, and he appreciates my hard work and sent one out, and so I appreciate that and diving in. John Palmer says, I listen to every episode, but I don't want to take a chance away from someone who would better be served by the prize. Hey, John, Do you know anybody that that has recently started using Bitcoin that may could use some help? Maybe there's somebody that you've been talking to about Bitcoin that's interested. Maybe someone that's been in Bitcoin for a while that maybe has all their stuff on Coinbase or really doesn't know what to do going forward. Because I mean, if you don't need it, I'm sure you know someone that you could gift it to. So feel free to enter the drawing. That's why it's there. Oh, and look at that. Jim says, "Oh, John, if you win, you can give it away. I already have one. I plan on giving it to the grandkids." Pip has three. Nice. Pip, aren't you stacking for a couple of others for the future? Grandkids, or not grandkids, nieces and nephews, or something to like your grandkids. Pip, are you stacking for your grandkids? John says he doesn't talk to people much. Wow. So you're not clipping because you're afraid of winning it? I love your logic. You do know that the intent of the clipping isn't to win the jade, right? Well, at least from my perspective. Pip says him and his nieces need to have kids to have grandkids. No, I mean, you can adopt some, I think. But anyway, that Jade contest, official not announcement, but episode 816 of this show. So 816, 817, 819, 820 so far until the end of January, till January 31st, or any Director Detour episode from the beginning through the end of January. If you make a clip on Fountain, I go through and I'm taking tally marks, and anybody that makes a clip of either of those gets entered into the drawing for the Jade. First week in February or so, we'll make a drawing. If Jim's the only one that ever made a clip, I'll just mail it to Jim. But I hope some other people jump on Fountain and check it out and give it a listen. If you are listening and you're not clipping, I definitely appreciate that. Share it for someone. Share it with someone that you think would enjoy it. It's a solid show, I think. I think the interviews are could be listened to by anyone, enjoyed by anyone, and people could find a benefit from it, whether it be entertainment or learning something or being inspired or something along the way. And that's the point. I hope it has a wide net and lots of different types of people like it. So Director Detour, you can find it on all your pod players, or directordetour.npub.pro is a site. I'm messing around with it for the meantime. So Chris Dixon says, like planting a tree, the Bitcoin ain't for me. That's my deep thoughts for the year. You got it out of the way early. I appreciate that, getting that deep thought out of the way early. Jesus. All right. So we had an escapee. This week. I think it was midweek, late in the week. Corey and I were on our dog walks in the morning, and she says, we had an escapee. I'm like, did one of the dogs get out? What the hell? I didn't notice. So was it when you were doing dog walks in the morning? Did one get off their lead, or what was going on? This is kind of rolling around in my head. And she's like, no, one of our snails got out. She's like, I found one of our snails. John Palmer is going to review the show on iTunes, but they won't let him create an account. Fuck Tim Apple. Don't listen on iTunes. Screw Tim Apple. And so she says, we had an escaped snail. And I'm like, wait, what? Wait, hold on. The terrarium the snails are in. First of all, Corey flipped her tank the other day. Flip as in changed the cocoa core, took all the snails out, cleaned it up, and reinstalled everything. And we had 48. Was that it, Corey? How many total snails did you have before you did your parsing? 48? 36? 46. 46. 46 snails in her tank, which is way too many. Way too many for the size that it is. And that is probably because we've hatched a bunch. They're kind of growing up. Some survive, some perish and are consumed by their friends. But at this point, when she was cleaning it out, she found 46 snails. She was kind enough to release 16 of them into nature. She found a good place to let them go. So she pared down to 30. 30 might be a little more than I think she should have in there, but they're still small and growing. She felt that was an appropriate amount, and I trust her. So she redid the tank, and she had her 30 snails in there. She takes care of them every day. She opens it up. She mists them down. She checks their food. She changes their water, just like any normal pet. And so we were on the walk, and she's like, we had an escapee. She tells me it's a snail. And I was wondering how it got out. I said, well, was it one of the little tiny ones? Did it crawl through one of the holes in the screen on the top? Did it she's like, well, it might have been she might have been when I put the lid back on the other day. It was a little skewed, but I didn't think any of the snails inside were small enough to get out. And she's like, it also could have happened like when I took the lid off. It might have been on the lid and crawled off. I don't know if they considered them crawling, what their movement would be, snailing along. That it might have snailed off the lid and hid for a little while. I'm figuring that it couldn't have been out for very long. I don't know how long it could have actually survived without an environment, without moisture, food, or whatever. But she said she has no idea how it got out. But one day she was sitting in her chair and she kind of stretched and she leaned back and she looked up, and on the slide roof above her, there's just a snail chilling right above her head, just chilling on the roof of the slide inside. And so I think most wives, I don't want to say most, a lot of wives would would freak out about that. Mine kind of leaned back. She says, I leaned back and I grabbed it, put it down, and put it back in the tank. So we're not sure if we have 31. Good morning. Thanks for the zap over there on Noster. Appreciate that. I'm not sure if we have 31 now, or if the 30 and one escaped. I'm not sure the count. And it'll be a while before they dirty the tank up enough that we have to take them out, count them, and count them and find out. John Palmer says the snail was looking down on her. That's quite a role reversal. That's true. I didn't think about that. Chris Dixon says, even I can figure out clipping. Yeah, it's pretty easy. Jim was saying how easy it is to clip on Fountain. and shares easily to Noster. Pip was wondering if the snails are slithering. I think that might be a snake, but maybe. And Hunter comes in with Google Foo. Google says that snails creep. So the snail would have been creeping around, which was kind of appropriate, seeing it was hanging upside down over Corey. And depending on what shirt she was wearing, he might have got a good view. I should get snail cam, put a GoPro on that snail's head and have him crawl up there. Jim says, do you sleep with your mouth open? I'd rethink that. If those snails got up to the front of the camper, more power to them. And what's wrong with a little something in your mouth while you're sleeping? Jim says snails slime their way along. I found that out. We've still been messing around with the live feeds. I am pretty sure my Raspberry Pi isn't going to really work for the setup I wanted. I've been doing some testing with running it on my little computer I bought after my laptop fried, sending it to zap.stream, sending it to YouTube. There's some glitchy issues I'm still trying to work out when I have time. And we're also in that time of year when we need Reflectix in the windows. So our plan of going back and forth between the snails and the bird feeders doesn't really pan out too well when the Reflectix need to be in the windows, when the windows fog up if they're out. So we're just doing some testing here and there. At some point, and likely when we make it out to Delinquent's Gully, it'll get its own dedicated system. All the zaps that go to that channel, that's on a different channel. I spun up an NPub for Corey's Critters, and any zaps that go to that, anything that through the YouTube channel or whatever ends up going towards equipment to get dedicated directly to that project. So for right now, we're tinkering around with it. When we got a nice day, when the bird feeder's active, we throw the birds up. The snails, I'm still trying to dial in so it gets closer in and more defined picture. And the camera I have just really isn't. Well, I shouldn't say that. We're trying to figure out the proper positioning of the camera to make the snail feed worth it, because they're kind of cool to watch. And there is, with 30 or 31 snails in that tank, there is definitely an opportunity to see some stuff going on in quite a bit. John Palmer says, what a creepy situation with the snails. Whew. And Jim says protein, #carnivore. Links for Corey's Critters. Corey's Critters, you spelled it right. KORI_SKRITTERS. I don't know if I've actually officially made an NPub. I set up a new account in zap.stream to keep it separate, and haven't really set up any profiles or anything. And I think that automatically creates a new NPub. When I signed up for Zaps.stream for this show, I just used my Lots project NSEC and NPub, which is the beauty of Nostr. You can carry it across all these different apps. But I spun one up just for testing with Corey, and I have to dig in more. It really isn't live launched yet, so it's if you catch it in the feed over on Amethyst or wherever you watch your lives on Nostr. Chris Dixon says, arming the snails to take on the birds. I know, isn't it kind of fucked up that the bird feeder what? Hunter says, you just do the thing. What is that supposed to mean? Chris Dixon says, arming the snails to take on the birds. It's messed up. The bird feeders on the window are right above the snail tank. And I don't know about birds' vision and how that works through the window, but through the window and through the top of the tank, there are a shitload of snails. And I bet some of those birds would be really happy to dive in a little further and grab those snails, but they are safely in the inside. I don't know how well they could defend themselves against the birds because they don't have any arms or hands. Maybe we could put lasers on their shells so they can protect themselves. I'm not sure. Hunter says I cannot do the thing. The struggle with tech is real. I've been helping Hunter. I've been helping Hunter on a little project he's working on using some of the Nostr protocols and things, Nostr affiliated services. And he's just like Corey. I've met two people now, two people that are allergic to technology. And it's only the only way I can describe it is they pick up a piece of technology or try to do something. Things that I have talked people through, no problem, taught people how to do. I've watched people figure out on their own. And Corey and Hunter now, my second allergic tech person, they experience errors that even the people that design the shit are like, wait, what? Wait. Yeah, that bad. So thanks Hunter for testing my my prowess as an instructor or troubleshooter by the randomness of the shit that doesn't work for you. Hunter says I don't break out in hives, but it's kind of like animal people. Animals love me and tech doesn't. Oh, must be Corey. I mean, Corey is like an animal whisperer across the board, so there might be something to do with that. I thought I'm pretty good with animals, but I can figure out the simplest of tech. Hunter wants me to figure out how to do snail jousting with toothpicks. Jim says I wish I had video of the hissing cockroach battles. There may be someone else on the interwebs. They were fun little bugs to have. Wait, Chris Dixon says it took him 3 hours to switch to Albi Hub. How? How? I'm gonna get canceled for that. All right? Can't do that past the 80s. Unless you're Justin Trudeau. So yeah. Let's move on. Yesterday I almost forgot to be a prepper. Well, Chris Dixon verifies that he's an idiot. Perfect. I don't want anybody that's not an idiot to be scared about changing over to Albi Hub. Thanks, Chris. Pip says just heard Justin is stepping down. I had to throw in the Justin. I was contemplating this morning before the show and looking at my notes where I could put the Justin Trudeau baby Castro dig in, and I wasn't sure, but sure enough, boom, there it is. Yesterday I almost forgot to be a prepper. Spinning way back to when I lived in the suburbs, before the farm, before the homestead, before going on the road. I used to be just a city guy that realized I didn't want to be in the city anymore, and started preparing, started making bagged, like shelf stable pre-packed meals. This is long before I found TSP and the Survival Podcast and the whole prepper community surrounding that. We had stores, we had ready-made meals, that were shelf stable that we consumed on a regular basis. We stockpiled boiled potatoes and things like that. And then we got the fuck out of the city. Only after I got out of the city was when I started listening to Jack. So he was reinforcement on the prepping. We had started long before that. So it's been a while. It's been a while since I've been doing this and being prepared. We know that in the summer when we had our power outage, I was not prepared. The generator, my chainsaw was at the cabin, and things like that. Ended up having to cut up a tree with an axe in the middle of the road and that fell. If I had my saw with me, it would have taken 2 seconds, but I had to use an axe and pull it off with my truck. You would have thought I would have learned. The issue here is coming that we have 2 different locations. And it isn't really a bug out location and a permanent location. This is a temporary location and then another temporary semi-permanent location. I'm not buying double stuff at this point. If I had a home and a cabin or a home and a bug out location, I would have a set of everything for each location. At this point, it doesn't make sense for that. But the things that I use for prepping and functionality, depending on where we're at, are divided between the 2 locations. So yesterday, Corey and I were sitting here, and we were talking about the weather. We were talking about what the weather was coming up. I don't think it's going to be as bad as they keep saying it is. Especially yesterday wasn't even close to as bad as they thought it was going to be or predicted it was going to be. It's been a theme. They've hyped these things. So we're talking about it. We're saying, all right, it's going to rain heavily. There's going to be high winds. The temperature is going to drop. We've seen this play out in Minnesota. Trees get saturated. Temperature drops. Ice loads down the trees more. Wind blows. Trees come down. Lose power. Whatever. A phenomenon here in Tennessee is when the water freezes, they don't bury their water lines very far. So even if my water is taken care of, the cities last year during the cold snap, or towns around here, the municipalities, they all lost water for a little while. Individual lines in the yard here going to our spigot could freeze up and break. There's all sorts of things with the water. So we were trying to make sure we walked through what we needed. We had extra firewood. We were going to fill our jerry cans with water. And I'm like, well, what if the fucking power goes out? We have our solar, but we're on shore power here. So it hasn't been, I don't want to say it's depleted. It's just not been maintained. When it cycles different when we're plugged in. Could have done something about it a couple of weeks ago. It's not really the sunny time of year here in Tennessee. So would we be making enough just solar to operate? We could probably make it happen, but didn't want to have to deal with that. I was like, well, I should just have the generator here in case the power goes out. That's just no-brainer. We've been storing the generator because instead of hauling it back and forth, because we used it more often at the cabin at Delinquent Scully when we would go stay. So I was like, well, I should probably go and grab the generator. And as I was thinking about what else was out there that we could use, I was like, well, I grab an extra propane tank because the generator runs on propane and the camper runs on propane. And if the ice in the roads ice up and we can't get out for a week, it'd be good to have the propane. And then I said, you know what? We just talked about trees coming down and taking out power lines. How about I grab that chainsaw? So I grabbed the chainsaw a couple days ago. I had Mr. Jamie Ping over there. Man, the guy helps out so much. We're bartering for some wood again this year, and sharpened up my chains for me and got everything going. So I got the small DeWalt battery operated chainsaw and the big Husqvarna. That if any trees come down this week, neighbors around here on our area in the road, if I have to go somewhere like before, the saw is now securely kept in the truck for now. So Almost forgot to be a prepper. Had to make an emergency trip out there to grab that stuff. And again, thanks to Jamie for sharpening the chains, bartering for the wood. And when I got out there yesterday, I didn't feel like getting stuck in my truck on the easement road after it had rained quite a bit. And Jamie volunteered to drive me back there, and drive me back there. And so we Baha'd it back and picked up the stuff and had a little chat and discussed some things along the way. So appreciate that, Jamie. And we're all set here. John says, and now Brian needs a stuffed trailer. No, Brian just needs to have one place. Just one place to be, so I can have all my stuff there. Corey said it was the never-ending battle when she was growing up while her parents were building and then had a cabin about 3 hours from their house. Her dad was constantly saying, oh, I got to go buy a new tool because the one I want is at the cabin. Our cabin's 25 minutes away. Theirs was 3 hours away. I can get away with it a little bit, but since it's a half an hour to go to town to buy something new, I usually just get sent to go get what I already have. Jim says, I'm working on a bug out trailer design. When the water rises, I have to bug out. A small enclosed trailer, you can do wonders. You and the girlfriend can definitely both bunk out. In a small, affordable enclosed trailer. Yeah, no issues. I don't know if you ever heard the Stephen Harris Jack bug out trailer episodes. They did a decent job with that. Might want to look into it for some ideas. So I made the trip, and we feel all prepped up now. And hopefully, because we made the trip, knock on wood, I don't need to use any of it. Would be ideal for me. I'll make the trip, spend a little time with Jamie, and be prepared, and hopefully nothing happens. So we will see about that. This weekend we were out there. If you remember, we put up a I don't know what to call it, like canvas. It's not canvas, tarp garage, soft-sided garage. The big soft-sided garage we put up that we weren't sure what color it was. Well, Corey and I had a disagreement about what color it was. We walked up to the build site on Saturday when I forgot to bring all the stuff home. Oh, did I forget to mention that? We were there on Saturday, and my dumbass forgot to bring all the stuff home with me. I guess I didn't forget. We didn't think about it till Sunday, but we were there the day before. Rewilder Life says Jack Harris and Jack's one of her favorites. Yeah, it is a great series. And Jim says it was influence inspired for sure. Nice. But when we were out there, we walked up to our site, and lo and behold, our soft-sided garage flipped over and flew probably 30 feet, I'm guessing, and was upside down, leaning against some trees, legs up. There wasn't really much I could do about it yesterday or Saturday when we were out there. It's on a huge pile of deadfall, like basically where the loggers came through and knocked down the stuff for their path, and then pushed all the logs together. So all those branches are just stacked up on top of each other. Big, huge pile. And it's all dead and brittle. When you walk on it, your legs go right to the bottom. And so there really wasn't much I was going to do about it that day with Corey by myself. And so it looks secure enough. We were supposed to get 30 to 40 mile an hour winds last night. We'll see where it is when I go out there this week, whether it moved any further. Maybe it blew it right back over onto its spot where it's supposed to be. But Rue Isler Life says, hope it's not shredded. From looking at it, it looks like it might have just rolled right over and maybe like made one roll and just landed. I'm hoping it's heavy enough to just stay there. We'll find out. They do sell replacement covers for it. And the total price was under $300. So I can't imagine that the cover itself will be that expensive. But as we were thinking about where we wanted to put it, because we realized that when it moved, we didn't really want it where it was at anyway. John Palmer says, hope it's not in Oz. And Chris Dixon told us about a trampoline that he got to disassemble up in a tree. And I'm thinking that's what's going to happen with me. But anyway, we realized that really wasn't where we wanted it. It probably worked out for the best. And we also have a different function that we can use it for on the property in the short term. So I'm going to drop it. I'm going to probably end up disassembling it in place and moving it to a different location on the property and using it for a completely different purpose that's still in the works. So that was a fun surprise and added something else onto the list. Have tent will travel. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. A 12 by 20 tent will travel. Just let me throw it on my back. So we'll see. I moved the whole thing in a box by itself up that hill. I don't think it can be that heavy, but it's just super awkward in shape and things like that. So Rue Other Life says hubby found 3-foot long anchors we put in for our garage with thick ratchet straps. That was the failure was the stupid cheap nylon cords that came with it. They're still attached to the anchors. The anchors didn't fail. It was the cordage. So I should have known better. I didn't think about it. I secured it with what was provided, and no luck. So luckily I have plenty of paracord around here that I can re-secure it with paracord and using similar anchors. So anchors worked. The anchors worked. Some tree roots, not tree roots, but tree stumps I used. And then some of the anchors, the screw-in anchors, held fairly well. So it was the failure was definitely the nylon cords. Chris Dixon says 36-inch threaded in tether stakes are a must in our area. Yeah, I figured the trees were going to be fine. They had been there long before and long after the wind. So at least the base. Hunter says product review update. Yeah, I could definitely do some content, easy content, just videoing the thing on its roof. The thing on its flipped over and where it used to be, and showing the nylon, and buy some paracord from Atwood Rope Company. Jim says that should go to the video review for cordage. Yeah, for sure. I'll get right to that, guys. I'll get right to that. Let's see, 58 minutes. Let's see. Director Detour this week. We got three new episodes coming in. We got Paul Hemphill. He's a character. He's a character for sure. You're gonna want to listen to that one. And then also Christian Espinoza. If you listen to the Christian Espinoza episode, and you are a conspiracy buff about the jab at all, you'll hear some interesting conversation about that during the show. That'll be on Wednesday. Christian Espinoza, he may or may not have had some medical complications down the road after getting his jab, but you'll have to listen to figure out what actually happened to Christian. And then Charles Sims is a CTO that's been all over, was a CTO with the Los Angeles Clippers basketball team and several other high-powered tech establishments. He's coming up on Friday. Great chat with Charles. Paul Hemphill, though, released this morning. It went out this morning I don't know what to say about Paul. He's a laugh a minute. Let's just say Paul is a laugh a minute. So check out Director Detour. You can find it on all your major podcast players. You can find it at directordetour.npub.pro. The Patreon page, excuse me, patreon.com/Director Detour. 3 episodes a week, every week. We're recorded through February right now, just making bookings for March and into the spring. So definitely check it out. I feel the show's going good. You guys liking it? Is there anything you could see that could change? Anybody you'd like to bring on? I only book through Podmatch, so if they're not on there, definitely have them sign up using my affiliate link. Thanks. All right, man. Chris Dixon's taking off. Have a great week. Clip away, Jimbo. How about clip away, everyone? Chris, thanks for stopping in. Have an awesome week yourself. Next on the list. Got a couple things left here, and then I'm open to chat about whatever anybody wants. If you guys want to hang out for a little while, I got some time this morning. Diving into Noster this year, I told you guys last week that one of my New Year's things, I don't really do resolutions, but Q1 focus is AI, Bitcoin, and Noster. I've held true to that for the first week or so here, 6 days, 5 days. Diving into Noster pretty hard. Bitcoin, polishing up my beginner Bitcoin knowledge. I really want to help transition some people into using it, onboarding them, helping them, and it goes in conjunction with really trying to onboard podcasters to using Fountain, using value for value. Well, using Fountain, Podverse, Wavelake, the countless value for value enabled pod players. In conjunction with trying to onboard podcasters, I want to offer help to their audiences. So when they say, hey, none of my fucking audience use Bitcoin, what point is it for me to sign up? I can say, hey, send your audience to me, to my resource page, or talk to me to learn how to do this, to learn how to directly send value to the podcasters they love. So I'm really going back to the beginning and wrapping my head around several different ways to explain Bitcoin, Lightning, value for value, those basic building blocks of understanding what's going on. So I've been diving into that. AI, talk about a rabbit hole. Talk about 17 different directions to go. I got one. I'm kind of on the trail, doing some education on that, doing some reading, messing around with some different AI models, different use cases, and slowly getting back into the groove of staying on the edge of AI as much as I can. And then Noster, I am the more I use it, the more I dive into it, the more I learn about it, the more I explore it, the more I want to be there, and the less I want to be on legacy social media. I see the benefit in staying on legacy social media for I don't want to say business, but for promotion's sake, for eyeballs' sake. But beyond that, my personal interaction, my day-to-day, if I didn't do my podcast anymore, if I didn't do any of this anymore and had no reason to be promoting myself on social media, I would delete it all and only be on Noster. 100%, 1000% tomorrow, I would turn it all off and go 100% Noster. I benefit too much from using the others at the moment. I can't make that call. Not when I'm trying to grow things. If I was established, great. Personally, I want to be there more than any place. So I'm diving in. I'm learning more about it, like I said. So new to Noster right now. Things I'm finding. I got a couple of things on the list. Wave Lake put out an app. So just like Fountain, now you have a music streamer, value for value music streamer in right on your phone. You can find that in Zap.store if you're an Android guy. I don't know if they released it to Timmy Apple, either in test flight or in the the Apple App Store. I don't know if they released it over there or not, but I know it's in the Zap Store, Zap.store for Android and possibly Google Play. I don't use them anymore, guys. I don't use Google Play. I use F-Droid and now Zap.store. So Wave Lake is another fantastic app you can use that you can log in with your Noster identity and send value to creators that are self-publishing on their podcasts and things like that, just similar to Fountain. And it's not one or the other. You can use both. If you find me on Noster, or if you find me on Fountain, and somebody else finds me on Wave Lake and they zap me, it's all the same network. That's the idea behind Noster. Your identity travels with you to all these different apps. They're all interconnected. Your wallets are all interconnected. So whatever your preference is to use it, to interact with the content, you pick and you use it. So Wave Lake is one that launched this past week. Olas, I got to talk about that, and I believe it's Olas, like as in Ola. I'm not sure what Pablo's MO behind the name is. I'll talk about Olas in a second here, but Amethyst got a big upgrade over the weekend. I was watching it happen in real time, basically. But they were able to figure out how to roll GIF, GIFs, however you want to say it. You might be wrong if you say it one way and not the other. But you can now use them in Amethyst in the latest version that's up at Zap Store. I don't think he's released this to the Google Play Store. And he isn't available on Apple. So if you use an Android and you're using Zap.store and possibly it's been approved in the Google Play Store, you can get the latest version of Amethyst, and then there's a little jumping through hoops you have to do. But now we can use GIFs over on Amethyst and Olas. Pablo, Pip's wondering if it's creamy or crunchy GIF. Before I talk about Olas, Hunter says, did you see the reply to my hammer video on Noster? Somebody aid a response comment about blacksmithing fuel types. Says, correction, it wasn't the hammer video, it was the fuel type video, and they gave me the chat GPT answer for fuel types. It was probably a reply bot, ding dong. Maybe it was a real person. I don't know. Olas is something that I think is going to help bring a lot of users to Noster protocol. Olas is going to be your Instagram of Noster. It's going to be photo based, photos posted just like it feels. If you get it, it's in test flight right now, and also available on Zap.store. And I think you might be able to get it in. No, I don't think the beta you can get in the Google Play Store yet. Test flight for sure. Actually, I saw some rumblings yesterday that it might have been taken down from test flight, but Zap.store for sure, or on GitHub. You can find Olas. It's super buggy right now, but it's brand new. That's the thing with these apps. It looks fantastic. Pablo's done a fantastic job of spinning up a client there that it really imitates It imitates Instagram with the feel. It's going to have Zaps enabled, like everything on Nostr. You're going to be able to carry your identity there with your NSEC, your NPub, from client to client to client. And he's working feverishly on it. He's adding in the Zap functionality. He's adding in some secure login functionality, and just making things smooth and figuring out how to make it all work using relays instead of a centralized server where all the data goes. It's smoother than I could ever expect for how old it is, or how new it is, I guess. And Pablo's going to knock it out of the park. Give it a little time. There is an initiative right now to help populate OLAS with content. One thing that they've found developing these clients and trying to onboard people is when they go there and there's nothing to look at, or you go there and you need to follow people to see content, and you go and you're staring at a blank screen. No matter how easy it is to sign up, no matter how hard it is to sign up, when there's nothing there to look at and people actually have to go through the motions to find stuff to see, they don't stick around. The purpose behind the OLAS 365 initiative, hashtag OLAS 365, OLAS is OLAS 365, is to post a photo, at least one, yes, Canadian Farmstead, OLAS, excuse me, I didn't say that earlier. OLAS 365 is an initiative to post at least one photo a day for the next year on OLAS. So at some point during this year, when we try to start onboarding, and yes, I say we because we're a big community, and we should all be trying to onboard or at least expose people to Nostr. When people start to come and check it out, there's content there, and there's good quality content there. And Nostr's responded. From what I read, from what I see, it is definitely being populated. I see different feeds. I see feeds when I go and check it out. Quality content. Jim says, I tried and it's day 6 and I'm about 4 behind. Dude, just take a picture and post it. It takes literally 10 seconds. Or go to your camera reel, and other than the pictures of your balls or whatever you got on there, I don't really want to know. You can post up any real picture. It's still wonky. Like, don't get me wrong, it's glitchy as hell. But it's way smoother than it was on the last update, and it's way more functionable than it was in the last release. It's getting exponentially better with every release that Pablo puts out. It's getting more functionality. He's responding to issues. He's tweaking things. It's brand new. I don't see any reason why he wouldn't make it a home run because of the way it looks already. So check it out if you're on Nostr. If you're not on Nostr and you want to figure it out, you're interested, I can talk about that. I can help you get on there. There is on the Lots Project main YouTube channel, there is a couple videos on Nostr onboarding. I think one is still relevant. I think the newest one is still relevant using Primal. That's the thing with the speed of light like this. It's hard to make evergreen content on how to get yourself signed up when it changes monthly, weekly, daily, depending on what's updated, what's released, and things. So making good content on onboarding is tough. But we'll figure it out. Like I said, I'm willing to talk about onboarding people to Nostr, to value for value in general, to Bitcoin. And my theory on this is, let's have a little chat, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, half hour, 5 minutes. Let's figure out what you want to accomplish and see if I can help you do it. I'll give you a roadmap to that, let you know what it's going to cost you for my time, because I do value my time. But that's easy. That's stupid easy to just talk to me for a second. We can do it through a Telegram chat. We can do it through a video chat. We can do it on a phone call. No problem whatsoever. I'm pretty easy to get a hold of. If you know somebody that wants to get a hold of me, let me know. Jim says, I don't do that. I learned that from Anthony Weiner. Never take those dick pics. Canadian Farmstead says, I don't know why I haven't used Noster in quite a while. I don't know either. But OxChat is getting several new updates, and I've been really following along with the guy that's developing OxChat, and that might soon be a very viable option opposed to Telegram. And actually, there's a couple other clients that are coming along that are for messaging and things like that. So as the zaps come in, as the pile of zaps accumulates, and there's some room in the Noster budget for some equipment for, like I said, the live streams and things like that. That equipment might also double into trying to buy possibly a dedicated unit to be a server for the Lots Project. To host the chat, to host comms, to possibly run our own Lightning node for the community and things like that. So we will see. We will see on that. That's a hopeful for sure. Jim says, haven't used OxChat lately. Got to check that again. Don't Telegram much either. I hear you. OxChat, as an admin, as someone that was setting it up and trying to run it, it was a nightmare when it first released, but it's getting better. Like all the apps there, all the clients there, they get exponentially better pretty quick. So Canadian Farm says OxChat is the only Noster app I used in the last couple of months, and only because you posted there. Right? Did you get a notification, by the way? Is that how you knew? Did you get a notification from OxChat when I posted that testing message? Because I'd be interested to know. I didn't know how that worked. So if you want to know about Noster, you can check it out. If you are already using Noster and you're not, and you're on Android and you're not checking out Zap.store as an app store, as a place to find your Noster integrated applications and others. I see that Bitwarden's in there. I see that some of my other apps that are on my phone are in there. So there's more than just Noster apps. But between F-Droid and Zap.store, you should have all your apps that you're ever going to want to use on your Android phone. So I would check those out. So yeah, that's that. One other thing on the list here, Delinquent's Gully this year, we're going to have at least a couple of classes out at Delinquent's Gully. We're going to I'm still trying to figure it out. Tim and I are trying to figure out what we want to do. It's kind of in my hands since I'm on site and that's my job here. But right now, definitely very firm possibilities with Carrie Brown from Strong Roots Resources. Going to do a couple classes. Looking like this is nothing permanent, but if you're interested, they're going to be ticketed events. Guessing they're going to be in that rough guess. I don't want to nothing permanent, nothing solid on price, but in that $100 range, $100 to $200 range, depending on what amenities we end up going with and costs. But Carrie would like to do a class in April, a class in June, and then we're hopefully having Gully Days again in the fall. It looks like SRF posted dates on their website of October 4th and 5th. Looks like we'll probably run Gully Days that week before. And depending on interest as far as presenters, classes, and things like that, we may do a ticketed event. We may do a combination of community day, ticketed event, work day. We're not really sure what we want to do, but we want to keep them separate. If we have a paid event, it is a paid event, and you're not showing up to work. If you're showing up to work, we're going to have community, and we're going to appreciate your work, give you a free stay, and do what we can to provide value back to you. If we're doing a class and you're paying for it, that's what you're there for, not to work. And then if we want a community building day and hang out and have fun, it is what it is. Pip's wondering, any affiliate link for SRF yet? I don't think tickets are on sale. I don't know if it's finalized. I actually went there, just happened to be looking for something from fall's event, and noticed that on the landing page that it had a date. And so I saw that. I haven't really confirmed, reached out or anything, but they put it up on the website, and we needed to start planning. Tim and I needed to start planning Gully Days. So that'll be, we'll have it in conjunction. Hunter says no spring. No, they drop down to only once a year, and it won't be at SOE. It's looking like it will still be in the Camden area. This is, like I said, none of this is confirmed. But it's looking like it'll still be in the Camden, at a marina resort campground, where RVing, camping will still be available, and in that same general area. And it looks like tentative dates, October 4th and 5th. I got to talk to Nicole more and see what is actually on the books, what's finalized and what's not, just so we do our planning and we don't overlap each other for any reason. But the classes that Carrie's interested in doing, April looking to do a partnering with trees on the permaculture homestead, very similar to the one he did at Nicole's at LFTN, or not at her workshop, but at her at the Holler homestead. They're both going to be like a 4 to 5 hour instruction class with slides, with on in-person hands-on things, and then an opportunity to interact with Carrie for a Q&A, and then follow up after at any point. If you go to the class, you can email Carrie and ask questions going forward. So April looking like partnering with trees on the permaculture homestead, and then June we're hoping to do a wild foods all around you, basically a foraging 101 class. Those are going to be day classes. I'm thinking depending on some other things, we might offer some camping the night before, but the way it works out for Carrie is these will be Sunday classes if they all pan out. Like I said, not confirmed, just putting it out there for my community. If you're interested and you want to reach out and reserve a spot, these are only going to be 10-person classes. So intimate and tight knit group and lots of interaction. But yeah, we might be able, if you're going to be traveling in from out of town, we might be able to arrange for some camping on Saturday and Sunday night if you want to stay again. But if you're interested, reach out. Like I said, no complete details and not even a confirmed thing or date. April and June, as more details come out, more details will come out. But if that's your thing and you are 100% want to participate and pick up a ticket, I can put you on the list before all those things get released, because you're in this community and you hang out and you've listened along the way and you heard it here, and we're doing the workshop. So partnering with trees on the permaculture homestead, wild foods all around you. And we also have some other classes I have in the works. Also working on possibly doing digital versions of the classes we do at Delinquents Gully. It's going to be a big year for the Gully. If we can get our living quarters up out there in the next year, that would be fantastic. It's going to happen. I shouldn't say it's going to be fantastic. It will be fantastic. we're going to start having our classes there. We're going to get some more structures up. We're going to finalize our plan going forward. This coming fall, the food forest will have a year under its belt. This spring, we have fodder trees coming in from Nick Ferguson, and we will start running fodder trees, getting those established. So next year, we'll be able to propagate those and sell cuttings from them, propagate them on the property. Maybe start messing around with selling some tree hay, things like that. It's exciting. As the time goes by, it gets more and more involved and more exciting. And every day I sit here and say I'm not doing enough for that project. Every day I question whether we could be doing more, should be doing more, what's going on. And every once in a while I'll walk out there, I'll take a trip and I'll walk around and really contemplate what has been accomplished so far. And the amount of things that have been accomplished that just take time. Getting the trees in the ground and waiting. Planning on campsites and just waiting. It's a lot of hurry up and wait. But we've accomplished so much so far, and we have so many plans. I'm glad you guys are all along for the ride. Right now, there isn't we don't have a social media, a website, or anything like that for the project. We're still trying to figure out the best way to go with that. 2025 is when it's going to happen. So it's going to be a good year all around for us, I believe. It started out well. And should continue, not just on the Delinquents Gully front, but kind of across the board with all the Lots Project stuff that's going on. So, what do you guys want to talk about? I got just a little bit of time here, 20 minutes maybe. You guys want to talk about anything? Throw it to you, the audience. Rewilder Life says, I feel this, but you're doing the thing. The waiting is hard, but hey, I did it. You can. Yeah. Little progress here and there. Little progress. There's lots of, like right now, we're just waiting on weather. We're waiting on weather for the driveway. We're waiting on other people for installation of our posts and our roof. We're just waiting. It's just waiting. It's dead, and it's dead out there. Everything's down. You can see across almost the whole property, and yeah, we're just doing what we can, making plans. We make plans and check things off the list throughout the year. Canadian Farmstead says, what's the Zap store called again? You got it. Zap.store. Put it in the comments there. Basically, you download it. It's an app, and then functionality-wise, after you have it, it works just like the Google Play Store. Your phone might pitch a fit when you try to download it, try to install it. And also when you download any of the apps from there, your Google encrypted phone will pitch a fit. Do you trust this? Do you trust this? Get familiar with the developers on Nostr, who the reliable ones are. I think you can trust Vitor that makes Amethyst. You can trust Pablo. You can trust things from Primal, things like that. That it is a thing. Jim says, does it require an NSEC or NPub? For Zap.store, I don't think you actually have to input any of your credentials. I don't believe in the Zap.store. I don't think I did. But everything, and Jim says, reminder, guard your NSEC. That's your password. As these apps and clients roll out, a lot of them only start with an option to put your NSEC, your password, your private key in to log in. I would say, now, I wouldn't suggest copying and pasting your NSEC on your phone, whether it's Google or Apple. Maybe if it's a de-Googled graphene version, an offline, a broken version of a phone. But we all know that our phones spy on us. Your NSEC is the key to your Noster world. If you copy it to your clipboard, it's probably saved somewhere else. What are the chances that someone's going to access it, want to access it, know what it is, whatever? I don't know. But basically, do you copy and paste your password on your phone? And if you say yes, you probably shouldn't. Treat your NSEC with more security than you would your password. But that being said, there are apps at the beginning stages before they get the functionality of using a signer. A signer, basically, what a signer is an application you download onto your phone. You securely put your NSEC in there, type it in, and it saves. It doesn't ever get broadcast off your phone. It is encrypted in the app alone, and then you use that app as hey, I put my password in here. Now it'll sign in to other things, basically like the Samsung account or Google Password Manager. But this is a secure locker for your NSEC. There are some. John says if you enter it on your phone, they'll probably have it anyway. I don't know. It really depends on the phone. It depends on what other stuff you have downloaded. And a lot of the clients, from what I understand, lock out tracking while you're using them. So if you're clicked into a data field, and this could be totally false. This is something I read, and it could have been from somebody being nefarious. But from what I understand, if you download the Amber app and you're clicked into the text field in Amber, it blocks the phone from reading your keyboard. I don't know if it works, or how that works, but that's my understanding. Jim says the phone is the weak point. True, even password managers get exploited. Yeah. It's definitely a concern, and it's a known concern in the Noster world of developers. Really helping experienced folks with OPSEC and making it a priority for new users to, as they're onboarded, really stress OPSEC, Bitcoin security, NSEC security, really online digital security in general is at the forefront. There's nothing worse than a developer getting a bad rap because somebody did something stupid, and it wasn't the developer's fault, but it falls on the app, because we know dumb people do dumb things, and if you can't dumb proof it, you're going to be the one taking the rap. So I think digital security is on the forefront of all the developers' minds at this moment. So I'm hoping to spin up a project here pretty quick. So you guys know I dropped this show off to 1 day a week. I was doing was that 3, 6, 7.5 hours of live streaming for this show. I dialed that back to an hour. I got an hour and a half of actual screen time, recording director Detour, not counting editing and all of that. So that brings me up to like 2.5 hours. And I feel like for my live streaming schedule, in that time that I'm saving, I'm going to try to allocate probably an hour to an hour and a half to a Noster focused podcast. It'll probably be a weekly release, and I got some really good ideas for it, and I think it'll work out well. I'm just putting some feelers out there with some people that might participate, and as I get some confirmations, I will start putting that together, and I think that'll be a good show for both my target audience. So when you do this stuff, you really pick your target audience and build around that. And my target audience is going to be people that have never heard what Noster is, or maybe they heard about it and they're trying to figure out what it is. People that are on the onboarding step, people that are new, and I'm hoping it also appeals to people that have been there a while, that want to keep up to date with what's going on. Basically, I want to be a bridge from the developers, from the tech, from the stuff that you read and you glaze over, to something that you can digest and understand and realize the potential and the ability of the things you can do there. So we'll see. Jim says, if only they had a, are you really, really, really sure you want to do that warning to click through? I think some of them actually do. So yeah, lots of fun stuff going on around here. The new schedule, the new everything new that was set up at the end of 2024, and the things that I want to accomplish in 2025 are really coming together. They're meshing nicely into a schedule, and we're going to knock it out of the park, guys. I hope everything's going well for all of you. I hope your new year is starting well. The motivation is there, and you got lots of big plans. You got stuff you want to accomplish. Pip says, any news on that Super Bowl Sats betting? We would never do any sort of betting. I do want to let you know that there is a Super Bowl board. If you don't know, oh, excuse me, I missed something here. Canadian Farm says, I need to try some winter propagation. See if I could get some hazel or mulberry to root. Haven't had great success so far. Rewilder Life says she had some luck with air layering, so give that a try. You guys can talk about that. Pip says, any news on that Super Bowl Sats betting? It's a Super Bowl board. A guy over there last year or 2 years ago, how it started. Let me tell you how it started. They released something called BTC Pay server. It's been around a while now, like 2 or 3 years. It's basically a way to enable Lightning and on-chain payment processing for your website, for your business, whatever you want. When it released, there was a guy that decided he wanted to learn how to use BTC Pay server, and so he dug in. He learned it. It was right around the beginning of the year, and he decided to test the functionality by putting a Super Bowl board together. And if you don't know what a Super Bowl board is, basically it is a 10 by 10 grid, 10 high, 10 on each side. And basically, when the Super Bowl teams are announced or they make it, you don't need to know anything about football. Basically, they put the one team on one axis and the other team on the other axis, and they put some randomly drawn, some put them in a numerical order, but they put the digits 0 through 9 across each axis. You pay whatever the entry fee is, and that buys you a square on the grid. Some are random draws. I participated in some at bars where you actually get to sign your spot, and then they randomly draw the digits on the axes, and then you watch the game. At the end of this particular one on Noster, I can get you the link if you're interested in signing up. I can help you figure out how to get it done. This one on Noster is going to pay out a winner at the end of the first, second, and third quarter, and then the grand prize winner will be at the end of the game, the final score. And what they do is they take the last digit of the score. So say it's the Buffalo Bills versus the Detroit Lions. And they're on the axes, and at the end of the first quarter, the score is Buffalo 42 and Detroit 3. So you would take the 2 and the 3 on their respective axes, and you go down and you find the square, and the guy in that square wins whatever portion of that prize is. So the one on Noster right now that I found, it's 10,000 sats, basically $10. Get you a square. 100 squares times $10 is what is that? $1,000 in the pot. They're paying out first, second, and third quarter at $200. 200. That'd be 200,000 satoshis, and then the final score is going to pay out 400,000 satoshis, or $400. So you got a 4 in 100 chance of winning, and you might win multiples. If the last digits are the same, that doesn't mean you can't win, or you win multiple, or you buy multiple squares. If you want help figuring it out, if you're interested in it and you need the link to sign up, let me know. It's fun. You could probably find one at your local bar. You might find them, and some sports team might be selling squares as a fundraiser. This is a 100% payout. Nobody's making any money on it. He does charge a little extra than the 10,000. I believe it's 10,010 sats. The 10 sats is for the processing fee and the administration fee on the site. So he makes nothing on it. He's doing it as a thing that he started to learn how to use the server, and he's just going to continue to do it year after year. So that is Pip. That is the Super Bowl board over on Noster, and there's only 100 spots total, and you got about a month or so. The regular season ended yesterday, so 4 or 5 weeks left to get in. I think as the playoffs start rolling, seats are going to fill up fast. So let me know. You can email me at info@thelotsproject.com. You can find me on any social medias. Just send me a message or hit the Telegram group at t.me/lotschat, t.me/lotschat. Jim says, what do y'all use as a deer deterrent? My fodder trees along a wooded area got eaten by deer. Can't fence it. Do you want any deer within, I think Carrie said 5 miles? If you don't want any deer anywhere around anywhere, I've heard great things about Billy Bond's bone sauce. I don't know the recipe. Carrie and I discussed this with the food florist at Delinquent Scully. And the fact that other residents on the easement road enjoy deer hunting, and at some point my wife likes to watch deer, and I want to have the opportunity, if I need to harvest a deer for food for some reason, I want them around. Carrie said 5 miles, possibly. Hunter says that's the pimp cast guy. Correct. He has I think he sells it, and he also may have revealed the recipe. I'm not sure. But it's basically a bone. You make a bone sauce out of, this is the perfect time of year. Rewild Life says, or you have venison dinner. I don't think Jim can do that in his subdivision, but maybe. Mike's Homestead says bone sauce is good, but the deer is still around. All right. I've never used it, and I don't know if Carrie had. He was just okay. Canadian Pharmacist said that's what Billy based his on. What? Billy based his on what? The only person I mentioned that had it. Yeah, that's an option. Look up bone sauce. I don't know anything about it. We did what Rewilder Life says. We did fences around each tree in a circle. That's what we did in Minnesota. It wasn't each tree. We did group fencing for our apple trees, and it worked. You can't give them enough. Basically, if you're fencing your trees, you can't give them enough room to where if they get to the fence, and the fence has to be chest high to a deer, so depending on the size of your deer, you want them to run into it. You don't want them to be able to reach their head over it and get the tree with their mouth. And you also want the area to be small enough that when they walk up to the fence, they can't jump over the fence. If they jump over the fence, they'll either land in the tree, they'll land on the other side of the fence. So if you can keep your trees, you can get more than one per fence, but that's the whole idea. If you put a big perimeter fence around your trees, they're just gonna hop it. Like, they can jump pretty high, so you know. Peanut butter on an electric line works. If you string an electric, like a high tensile line or anything with a charge controller on it, and take tin foil and fold it over the line and spread peanut butter on the inside of the tin foil, smash it together, and let it hang there, the deer will come up, they'll smell it, they'll smell the peanut butter, and they're going to want to taste it, so they stick their tongue out, and they just get railed right in the tongue by the electric fence, and that's a pretty good deterrent. Once they get zapped in their toe, in their nose or their tongue, and that helps. Yeah, that helps. Oh, Sepp Holster's. Okay, it didn't show Canadian. Sepp Holster has a bone sauce. Okay. I didn't see. Yeah, I don't see that. Oh, there it popped up after the fact. Billy based his on Sepp Holster's bone sauce recipe. So that's my advice. Jim, just string some zappy zap around your property. I know you can't do a fence. Does that mean you can't do maybe not a fence to actually keep anybody out, but basically a little a mock fence with the peanut butter on it? You could get rid of your squirrel problem. You could get rid of your deer problem. Anything that really likes peanut butter that is able to take a shock would definitely not be a fan of your yard if you had a peanut butter zapper in your yard. Or the motion activated sprinklers. I've known some people that use those in their gardens in Minnesota and had great luck with them. Basically, it's a sprinkler that on a motion sensor that when anything walks close to whatever you're trying to protect, one of the spinny sprinklers pops on and shoots them. Canadian Farmstead has the best idea ever for Jim. Just run out there and shake your cane at him, Jim, and say, "Get off my lawn!" John Palmer said that would be fun to watch. As I'm describing it in my head, I'm like, man, do I really have time for product development? Because a zap stand would be fantastic, and you could include cameras. Okay, Jim, maybe he says telling Canadian Farmstead that he does it and it's not effective. Corey was really effective at chasing off large black bears with a pot, a pan, and we would use the sharpening iron from an old knife set, and she'd bang the shit out of that walking at large black bears, and they would run away. I don't know if that would work for deer. So. Who's setting up the Zappistal? We'll call it the Zappistal. It's like the Zap pedestal. It could be disguised as one of those mirror balls that people put as lawn ornaments, and inside it is like peanut butter, and the outside is completely electrified, like one of those things you put on to make your hair stand up. Jim, there's your new product for 2025. You're welcome. I'll only take royalties if you're willing to send them. Oh, anything else, gentlemen, ladies? Or are we going to wrap it up? I got to go on a dog walk here in a few minutes, but Canadian Farmstead says, I wonder if regular applications of cayenne pepper in the area would keep the deer off. I'm guessing that would keep Canadian deer away, but Jim is down in Florida where they're probably more like Cuban deer or Mexican deer, Central American deer, and the Cajun deer. They probably like the cayenne spice. So your dainty Canadian deer that don't like spice probably would be repelled by cayenne pepper, but probably not in the South. You're welcome. All right, I'm wrapping it up. I hope you all have a fantastic day. I hope you have a fantastic week. If you're looking for stuff to listen to, definitely check out Director Detour. A bunch of episodes backlogged. If you haven't listened ever, you can choose from a shitload of new or of old episodes and new episodes released every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. You can check out the Telegram group at t.me/LotsChat. TheLotsProject.com is there. It is going through an overhaul on in the secret in the background, changing things up and making that a more effective website, and possibly spinning out some new stuff with some AI, and we will figure that out in the end. Join the Telegram group. Join Nostr. You guys want to get a hold of me. You want to learn how to get on Nostr. You want to learn how to start using Bitcoin. You want to join the C4 Club. Talk about Blockstream Jade. I am an open book for folks that are looking to learn, and I want to put value out there for folks so that they can learn to do the same. I hope you all have a fantastic week. Make it a great one. I look forward to talking to you throughout the week and catching up again next Monday morning. Have a great week, guys, and we'll catch you later.